What is up, YouTube? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the brand new YouTube logo that you see on the new YouTube site. A couple things you're going to need first before we start is if you're a PC user, you're going to have to download the font Myriad Pro. If you're a Mac user, you're already going to have it on your computer. And obviously you're going to need Photoshop. It doesn't matter which version you have, probably CS2 or above will be fine for this one. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is open up a new document, and we're just going to name it YouTube logo. And you're going to want 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels with a resolution of 300 pixels per inch. And we need to change this to RGB color because we're designing for the web and not for print. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is create a background that's similar to YouTube's new layout. So I already have the color selected here. It's just type in 5Ds and you got the color. So we're going to paint the background that color, and then we're going to use a filter to create the noise effect that you see on many of these Web 2.0 quote unquote, if you will, websites like Google and Tumblr and all that stuff. So we're going to go to noise, add noise, and we're going to make sure it's set to, the distribution is set to Gaussian, monochromatic, because if it's not monochromatic it's going to be different colors and you don't want that. And then the amount's going to be 1%, and just click OK, and that'll create this cool noisy background for you. It's a kind of a subtle background hint that makes the site look a little better. And then click your horizontal type tool, and we're going to make the font 55.55, and go ahead and change it to 45 for the color. That's going to be the U. Whoops. Okay. And just a quick little side note, I already have it adjusted on mine, but when you type this out, it's going to be a little spread apart like this. And the way you can fix that is go up here to your character palette and set the tracking to -30, and that will space your letters out a little closer together. So go ahead and do that, and then we're going to duplicate this layer by using Command J, Control J on a PC, and we're going to type tube. And for now we will leave this the same color until we create this square right now. Select the background layer, so you're on the very lowest layer, and then create a new layer and name it to background. It's always a good habit to get into naming your layers, because when you start creating very large compositions, you're not going to be able to find anything if all of your layers are layered by layer 1, layer 2, etc. So select your rounded rectangle tool, and then make sure the radius is at 35 pixels, and that's going to give us really rounded corners on this, which is what we want. That should be good. I'll go ahead and move this to the center of the text. Okay. We're going to go into blending options on this one to create the red gradient effect that you see on the YouTube logo. So right click the layer on the layer palette, go to blending options, and then we're going to go to gradient overlay. I already made this gradient and saved it. It's this one right here, and I'll pull up the color codes for you. The darker color on the bottom is going to be 731112. Okay, that's the dark one on the bottom, and the light one on top is going to be A02827. So once you have those colors in, make sure go ahead and click OK, and then make sure your angle is set to 90, and then your style is going to be linear, obviously, and then that'll be it for the background of that layer. So now we see that it's starting to look a little bit more like the YouTube logo, and we're going to fix the tube. As you can see, it's not the right color. So we're going to go to blending options again, right click on tube on the layers palette, and then we're going to do another gradient overlay, and I have this one already set up as well. We're going to for the bottom color, we're going to use all D's once again, same color as the background, and then we're going to just use white for the top color, and that should be set automatically to linear and 90 degrees. So you should be good on the gradient for that. And now we're going to create a drop shadow for the tube layer. As you, if you check out the YouTube logo right now, at the top left of the website, you're going to see a small drop shadow underneath that, and I already have the layers set up for it, but you're going to use a drop shadow of 75%, which is the normal default setting, 120-degree angle, and then for the distance, those should be defaults. For the distance, you need to type in 4 pixels, and for the size, you need to type in 4 pixels, and that'll create a nice little effect on your tube layer that replicates the YouTube's logo. Just a little side note, we are using a different font than YouTube. This is more closely related to their old font. The reason for this is because the font that they're using right now is a premium font, and you have to pay for it, and it's like $60, and I didn't want to pay $60 just to show you guys a tutorial for a font that I don't even know if I'm going to use in commercial design. So we're using Myriad Pro because it's pretty close. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue. Right click your U text layer on your layers palette, and we're going to go to blending options, and we can put a gradient overlay on this. So the bottom is going to be black, obviously 0, 0. And oh wow. Okay. And then we're going to select a color for the top. Make it something really dark. Actually, let's change this from black to something else a little more lighter. Okay, that looks good. And then we're going to do the same drop shadow that we did for tube, but as you can see from the YouTube logo at the top of your screen, it's more of a letterpress style instead of a drop shadow. So the way to get that effect is you go to drop shadow, set the blending mode to normal, select white as your shadow color, change the opacity to 100%, Oh, whoops. And then make sure the distance is set to 4 pixels and the size is set to 3 pixels. Let's keep it like that. And that should be the end of the logo tutorial. As you can see, it's not completely the same because I didn't want to infringe YouTube's trademark, so I utilized just a plain rectangle here instead of their more tube-shaped object, but it wouldn't be hard to recreate that shape anyway. Also, another side note that I forgot to mention when pointing out the Myriad Pro font is that there's an option right here for condensed, and you're going to want to check that before you continue on, because you'll end up messing up the sizing of the rounded corner rectangle, and it's just easier to work with the font that you're supposed to be working with the whole time. I just forgot to mention that I had it on condensed up here. So make sure you condense your Myriad Pro before continuing on with the rest of the tutorial from the point where you create your text. Okay, well, this is Sean from Themes and Tuts. Thanks for watching the tutorial, and come back, watch some more, subscribe, comment, rate, all the good stuff. I'm out.